Hi, it's Susan. Welcome back to my channel. I have another make-ahead for you today. What is a make-ahead? It is mass making. It is making big batches of things that you can have in your stash building, whatever you want to call it, but it is getting things done ahead of time so when you have a project you want to use them on, they're right there waiting for you to embellish and customize to go with your current project. And so this is nothing new under the sun, but this is something I hadn't done before, maybe you hadn't done before, and then I watched a video that Sigita CoffeeStains did, and she had a little tip that I found really handy, so I thought I would share it with you. Plus, it was a good way to use up some things. So these are kind of snippets, kind of paper snippets, kind of, they're not ruffles, but it's along the same idea, and they're just strips, like you can see here, book pages that have, been glued down and then stitched over the top of them. The trick that I learned from Sigita that I thought was super, super smart was using masking tape. So you don't have to do glue stick, you don't have to do any other kind of Mod Podge or anything like that, but you can use masking tape to hold your stuff down until you can go stitch it. I loved doing it that way. The only thing to be aware of when you're stitching with the masking tape is that the glue from the masking tape, because it's not like a glue stick, it doesn't dry completely, it will start to build up on your needle, so you need to clean it off every so often. But if you have a fancy expensive machine, maybe you don't want to do it this way, but on my cheapy machine everything worked fine. I just kept cleaning off the needle, and then when I was done doing these I just changed the needle and everything was good. But I love this look because you can take them and let's see. I thought I had a journal page right handy. I do. So I could add them to the side of a journal page. I could make them a belly band. I could make them a tuck spot. I could combine them with something else. I mean, we've all seen this with snippets. So I just wanted to show you some of the ones that I did. I really like the book text. This was a great way to use up book text. And of course, you can, once you have the book text down like this, you could go over it with your different inks to customize it. You can cut this apart to the different sizes that you want. You could watercolor over this. You could drop inks. You could spray. You could add color all sorts of ways. So I did some that were just book text, which was really cool. Some of the book text I went ahead and tried, just put a little strip of lace down the center, so that would work. I even like this with just the little snippets of coffee dyed paper, tea dyed paper, and then stitched over it in brown. That was really cool. Music paper, totally going to put these in some color. You could just tea dye them after they're, like this, or you could go ahead and spray them with stuff. Yeah, that's going to be really cool. This was a great way to use up my paper towels and baby wipes where I'm wiping up colors. This gave some really, really awesome strips. I like the way these turned out a lot. I had a lot of green, just a little bit of orange. This is before I've stitched it. And then, I just had some lace on there, and it works just as well doing it with lace and some threads on top. Very, very cool. Love this idea, and thank you, Sigita, for that tip on the masking tape. So really, all I did was take some masking tape, and it lays pretty flat by itself. And literally, it just depends on, how you want it done. If you're doing paper strips, different angles. It all holds it just enough for you to get in there with the sewing machine and stitch things down. And again, just remember, the glue from the masking tape will build up on your needle and you will need to clean that off. But how much easier is that than grabbing the glue stick to do all the time? I just found that super easy, super fun, good way to clean off the desk, use up some of those book pages, and boom, there you go. And then the same thing with my little paper towel strips, which I tend to put into little bags by color. And I think I've used up a lot of them, so this is kind of what's left. So I don't really have color enough maybe all in one color, but that's okay. Yeah, and this has all kinds of different paints and inks and who knows on it. You can kind of scrunch them up. So the masking tape, like I said, it builds up and you just can kind of scrape it down with your fingernail. And then when I was done doing, I did a whole bunch of these at once. And then when I was done, I just went ahead and changed my needle. I don't have to be picky, and yet I'm still picky. And see, it sticks so well. Look at that. It hides the masking tape. Got some of the stuff that's got straight edges. Just kind of scrunch it together and stick it down. I think these are really cool, especially if you're doing some kind of like maybe a boho kind of journal with these bright colors. You could have a good way to use up all these little paint strip things. And I had no trouble sewing through the paint. I sew through my ATC cards that have paint on them all the time. And it's funny, you use up all these little pieces and you think, oh, it's going to be gone. I'm going to be done. I'm not going to have any of these little things. And then I turn around and it feels like the pile hasn't gone down at all. But eventually, I will use them all up eventually. And then it'll be time to paint and I'll generate a whole bunch more, right? But that's okay. Got lots to play with. I am lucky. Lots to play with. And boom, there we go. Too cute. How fast was that to do these little things and just on the back of the masking tape? And if you want a wider strip, like maybe you want to make a pocket of it, super easy to do that too. If all you have, this also works with, if you have the painter's tape, just depends on what you have a lot of around. So say you want to make a really wide one because you want to make a pocket. Just overlap your masking tape. So maybe I want, and I mean, you could do them singly and sew them together, but maybe you want to do them all together like that. And I'm not going to need as much. So I'll tear that, save that aside. And now I can do a really wide one. So what other things? You could do this just with all the threads. If you're saving your threads, when you sew, you could apply a little bit of a glue stick to the threads and add them on top of this, or you could do one that was just completely with the threads. Little bare spots there, so I just need to hit just a little bit of the tape. Doesn't take much to hold this stuff, which is just, it's awesome. That's a little baby wipe, so you get some different texture in there. So, I mean, there's no way that anybody else is going to end up with the same one of these that you do, because of course all our little cleanup papers are completely different. You don't have to scrunch them up. You can totally leave them flat. It's entirely up to you. You could do this with fibers. Like after, I was thinking, when you make a tassel and you have, you cut off the ends of a tassel and you have all those little threads left, you could just lay those on top of the masking tape until it totally covers it and then stitch around it. There we go, just a little more. Put some purple over there at the end. Just one little tiny piece, didn't want to cover. And there we go. Then you have a bigger one. Boom. So that's it. Think about using up your scraps, music text, book text, fabric text, and your paper towels and baby wipes, and make some little strips that you can, some strippy snippet thingies, paper snippets. I guess that's what they are, is they're mostly paper snippets. Make some ahead, have them ready for you on your next project. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.